Welcome in. Happy National Signing Day. Happy Groundhogs Day. Happy February. Sipple, Parker, Lincoln Journal-Star, HuskerExtra.com. It's the second National Signing Day. It's not quite the to-do the first signing day is at this point, but we heard from Scott Frost today. And so we're going to rip through four downs, the four most interesting things we heard today, starting with the two players that Nebraska added to his class today, high school players, four-star running back A.J. Allen from Louisiana, and a four-star wide receiver, Janiron Bonner from Georgia. Sipple, what do you make of those two additions and what Scott Frost said about the class as a whole?
Frost said about A.J. Allen, he says not often that we recruit a running back that can do everything that we ask of that running back, but he said A.J. Allen's probably in that mold.
Yeah.
A.J. Allen was committed to TCU, but with Brian Applewhite being hired here, that was an inroad to A.J. Allen. I didn't hear what Frost said about Janiron and Bonner. You can cover that part.
Yeah, so with Bonner, he said, well, he actually said this about both the guys. He said they're both the type of guys that you turn on their tape, watch two plays, and understand, okay, this is a guy that can then help us. And so Frost basically intimated that they were both guys, they wanted to keep adding skill position players, but that these are guys that they just thought were too good basically to pass up at this stage in the game.
Okay.
Number two, a couple of injury updates. Just spring ball is still 3.5 weeks away, but Frost had updates on some guys that are not going to take part in spring ball. One guy not surprising, Teddy Prohaska and Gabe Irvin, just given where they are and coming back from knee injuries that they suffered in the season. A couple of new additions to the list, though, Turner Corcoran, young offensive lineman, and Travis Vokalek, the veteran tight end, both guys that are going to miss spring, which basically opens up competition at those spots.
Yeah, Corcoran, the injury issue for Corcoran is, I would say, somewhat concerning because he's missed some key developmental time. He missed key developmental time in August.
Yep.
Going into last season. That set him back. Now he's going to miss a spring. I think that's definitely something to watch with Turner Corcoran. I mean, there's only so much snaps that are available for you to develop, and he missed a lot. Now he's going to miss some more.
Yep.
Now Frost did note that Gabe Irvin is getting close.
Yeah.
So you might see some Gabe Irvin this spring.
Yep.
The running back, young running back.
Number three, still work to be done in the portal. It was interesting. Frost mentioned hiring somebody that would essentially sort of oversee or coordinate portal recruiting.
Real interesting.
But also just that they're going to keep trying to add via the transfer portal this offseason. They can't formally add any more players until after the spring semester. So they'll be watching the transfer market. But Frost did say sort of, I don't think it was any big shock, but they'd like to add at least one player in the offensive line group and the defensive line group between now and May.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. But the thing that I hope people understand is that schools are now scouting other people's rosters.
Yeah. He likened it to baseball, like a pro scouting department.
Right. So it's a whole different thing than was in place just even a few years ago. I mean, the portal's 3 years old. So you literally have to have someone on your staff that's looking at other rosters, not only looking at the talent, but trying to anticipate who might be leaving.
Right.
And that's pretty tricky business. It's probably a little unsettling to a certain degree, but whatever. It's an interesting conversation.
And number four, quickly, the defensive staff is shifting around a little bit. Obviously, we've known this since Bill Bush was named the special teams coordinator and Tony Tuioti left for Oregon. Frost said that Bush will mostly handle special teams, but he may be able to help in a defensive position too. They haven't quite figured out exactly how that picture is going to look at this point.
To be determined. My guess, he coached a Thorpe Award-winning safety at LSU. My guess is he'd be in the secondary in some capacity, maybe the nickel or maybe just the safeties. But I would think it's going to be secondary.
There you go. That's four downs. Check HuskerExtra.com for all the latest, and thanks for watching.